Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Thank you for being here in our Tech Talks and More presentation of Growth Mindset. Bienvenidos a nuestra presentación de charlas tecnológicas y más de mentalidad de crecimiento. So we're going to start shortly. Meanwhile, please click on the globe icon and select the English or Spanish as the language in which you prefer to listen to this presentation. Así que mientras empezamos y le damos tiempo a otras personas a que nos acompañen, por favor haga clic en el icono del globo y escoja inglés o español como el idioma en que desea escuchar esta presentación de mentalidad de crecimiento. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Gracias por acompañarnos. Vamos a dar inicio a nuestra presentación. So, as always, we want to let you know about our interpretation services. As I reminded you earlier, just click on the globe icon and then select the language of your preference, and you will listen to that presentation in that language that you have selected. Así que, como saben, tenemos servicios de interpretación gracias a nuestra intérprete. Así que haga clic en la parte de abajo en el mundo y selecciona el idioma de su preferencia, inglés o español, y entonces va a escuchar la presentación en ese idioma. Gracias. This is a webinar and we want to have you participate and join us, right? And one way to do that is through the Q&A. So you're welcome to post your questions in Q&A and also in chat. So again, we are going to have an interactive webinar today. And a couple of ways for you to participate. It's either by asking your questions in the Q&A or using the chat feature. Thank you. We're going to get started, and to just get in the idea of what this presentation will be about, we're going to do an inclusion like we do every time we are with you on Wednesdays in Tech Talks and More. Our inclusion today is about this. Think of a skill activity that you regret not having learned or developed, okay? Think of that one skill, one activity that you regret not having learned or developed, and then tell us what prevented you, what might have prevented you from learning or developing that skill, okay? So as an example, you see the sushi and the chopsticks, and that will be my regret. My regret would be not developing the skill of using chopsticks. Little did I know, right, that I would love to eat sushi, but I cannot use chopsticks. So I know that if I will learn that I should say I haven't learned yet, right? But that it would be my one regret right now. And what prevented me from learning that skill? I would say that it was time, or no, I will really not need them, right? And that was, and then now, what do I say? I only use them once in a while. So again, right, that would be my fixed mindset, not allowing me to learn a skill that I think I should develop. So again, what might be one of those that you want to share with us? Might there be some answers in our chat?
Yes, we have some. We have swimming.
Okay.
And not learning how to use the computer, or not learning how to drive.
Okay, so those are big ones, right? Not learning and not having learned how to swim. I would say I fall into that one too. And driving, which we know in LA, right? Most people drive, it's far, we have to go, places are far away from each other. So yes, those are some of the skills and activities that maybe we regret not learning. But as we will learn today, right? We cannot stay in a fixed mindset, and maybe those skills and activities we might still be able to want to after we listen to this presentation. I'm sure you will find a way to learn those skills. Anything else that we might want to share just to honor some of our answers?
Yes, learning a new language, becoming a book reader, swimming, sewing, not learning how to use the sewing machine.
Okay. Wow. So there are quite a few activities, right, that we might have regretted not learning, but we're going to say we haven't learned yet. Okay. So with that, thank you for participating. We are going to now introduce our presenter for today, Ms. Marisol Castro. She's an instructional coach with the Kindergarten Readiness Program, and she will be leading us in this presentation today. Marisol?
Thank you, Vilma. It's a great pleasure being with you guys today. I am so happy and excited to bring this new topic to all of you at your homes today. So as Vilma mentioned, my name is Marisol Castro. I am an instructional coach and I work with kindergarten readiness. I'll let you know a little more about that in a second. But today is Wellness Wednesday. And in LUZ, we have a theme for every day. So here are some of the things. Just think about yourself. What have you done today to actually to help yourself or to improve yourself as a person? Just like we said before, and many times, we need to take care of ourselves, mind and body before we can help someone else. I don't know if you heard the saying about going to an airplane. You know, you have to put your mask on, get your oxygen mask on before you can help somebody else. So taking care of ourselves is very important. Whether you have extra water today, whether you went for a walk, or not too early because it's been hot right now, but whatever you did to take care of yourself, read the book, have 5 minutes to yourself just to decompress. Make sure we do that every day, just to take care of ourselves. Just to let you know a little bit about myself and the work that we do in our team. Here are some of the things that we like to share with you. Even though it says kindergarten readiness in my title, we don't only work with kindergarten students. So we focus on these different 5 domains for our students. And they will just, it's like a springboard from their kids all the way to adulthood. Emotional maturity, social competence, language literacy and numeracy, communication skills and general knowledge, and physical and health well-being are all of the things that we look at and kind of create that strong foundation. So when they grow up, they carry that in middle school, high school, even as adulthood. That's what creates a child or an adult as a whole. So for today, these are our goals that I want to come out at the end of the day or at the end of the session. What we want you to do is for you to gain an understanding of what social emotional learning and growth mindset is, or validate what you already know, because many of you have a lot of information on this, especially now after the pandemic. We have looked into it in so many different ways. Discover how a growth mindset impacts our learning, whether we're kids, teenagers, or adults. It doesn't matter what age you are. And learn strategies to help and increase your growth mindset. Social emotional learning is not like math or reading and writing, that it kind of a stepping stone as you go through. Social emotional learning is kind of fluid and you go through different stages as we live life. So we're going to take a moment to gain understanding what is social emotional learning, what is growth mindset, and how does it affect our learning process of all ages, whether you're an infant, a toddler, a teenager, or an adult. So for those of you who know a lot about this, it's going to be a review. But if you're not sure what it is, if you heard something about it, I'm going to just go into it and tell you more about what is social emotional learning. So social emotional learning is to help students develop a range of skills for school and life, such as positive relationships, emotional connections, self-regulation. It also creates a strong social emotional skills to help people, children and adults, to see challenges and failures as usual. We learn from them. To seek out opportunities, to cope with common challenges. We have many this past few years. And to create support system to lead success and academically, socially, professionally, and within the families and relationships. So what we're going to talk about today is not just for our students, it's for us adults too, and for our family. We can actually bring this to our family right away. Social emotional learning is also about managing emotions. Children look at you as parents, caregivers, to give the prime example and they're the role model to behave the way you shall behave. And sometimes you wonder, I wonder what you learned that from. Sometimes it's just look around the family. Somebody's doing something similar. And then help with all kids and adults to cope with the behavior. There are many to run in about them. So some of the strategies that we can help children develop their coping skills is to think about their emotions and their feelings and talk about it. It's okay to have emotions. Sometimes certain families and certain cultures, we talked about you have to keep it inside. And we keep it balled inside and we don't talk about it. And then that's create blood pressure, health issues later on because we keep all these strong emotions within us. Having regular conversations with our students and our family can use emotions, picture cards, help identify what they're feeling, help us once you let it out, it makes you feel lighter, it makes you feel better. So at times when you see the poor behavior in students, children, or adults sometimes, it's because either they're tired, they're hungry, they worry about something, and creating that calm environment, that quiet area, we can use to manage those emotions and listening to music, dancing, drawing, playing cards, drinking water, or being just there to listen to someone. It gives you that sense of security. It feels like you are there and you feel safe. And that works at any age. Whereas for kids, they're looking for the sense of security. And us as adults, we're also looking for a sense of security too. So what does it look like at school and at home? How can we support our students or our family members to develop social emotional skills and build a resiliency? Because that is, we're not born with that. We learn as we grow. So creating the safety allows a brain, just think of your brain. I'm going to give you some brain lesson in a few minutes too, that it doesn't need to stay hypervigilant all the time because they're safe. And that gives the brain to calm down. There's a friendly atmosphere, creating routines, structures, create a safe, nurturing environment for everyone in the family. If we know what's going to come next, we're not running around running late or figuring out what we're going to do next. Having consistency creates a safety by having routines and knowing what to expect throughout the day and every day. Just like our children, what are we going to do next? What are we going to have for lunch? What are we going to have for dinner? And it's not just our kids or teenagers or family members, it's everybody. If you have a routine, because, oh, it's time for dinner, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. You know what to expect. Have an empathy experiences will allow us to change the perceptions for anger and frustration and have compassion for other people. So a lot of people, we think we have empathy, but then we wonder why people are getting so upset at us or we getting upset at people. So it's kind of a reflection to us and to kids too. Cultural awareness will support positive self-identity to promote diversity and curiosity in the world. We live in a city that is so diverse. Within the neighborhood, we might all speak Spanish or might speak English, but we come from so many different countries and neighborhoods and states. So knowing the diversity and understanding the diversity, it helps us too. Modeling regulation, expressive emotions, respectful communication, all of this will follow your lead. This is what kids will look up to you as leaders in your house, in your household. So focus on progress, not in product. Praise for results. Praise for effort, not results. So everyone makes mistakes, and it's okay. It's normal to make mistakes, but we learn from them. And that's what we want to go into the growth mindset. That is our goal for today. That's the focus, growth mindset. So I want you to stop for a second and think. Some of you talk about that you haven't learned how to drive or swim and different things, and or use a computer or sewing machine. But think for a second. The first time you ever learned how to do anything, whether it was cooking or driving or whatever you learned for the first time, how did that feel? The first time you learned how to do anything? Think about it. Was it easy the first time you did it? The first time I learned how to do rice, because my mother did this beautiful, delicious, tasty rice, and I loved it and I wanted to do it. It was hard for me. It didn't come out like the way she did it. But she didn't tell me, step aside, let me do it for you. It took time for me to do it. It took several tries. I don't know about you. The first time I learned to drive, I was just very cautious. I was looking at the cars. I was looking at the rear mirror. I was looking in the back, even the cars that were parked ahead of time. I was making sure. It took time for me to actually feel comfortable driving. It took time for the family to eat my rice that I was cooking because we were comparing to my mother's. So I didn't give up right away because I wanted to cook the way she did her rice. I wanted to keep trying and trying, and then a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And, you know, parents have their own, at least my mother doesn't measure things. What do? Put a pinch of this, a pinch of that. I measure things. I want to make sure that it's half a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon. So we all learn different ways, but we come up with our own recipe that comes better with time and practice. That's the growth mindset. Learning from my mistakes and keep doing it, not giving up. And just like we said in here, we make mistakes, yes, but the mistakes are the way we learn. We stumble, we get up. We stumble, we get up. And that's how we get better. Next time we look where we put a step and then we hop over. So those mistakes are important in no matter what age you are. You start a new job and it's kind of hesitant when you start a new job because you don't know what you're going to do. You need to practice. Same thing with the kids. They're in school. They start a new learning, new skill, new reading, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school. Everything that is new is uncomfortable until you get comfortable with it. And we learn by doing it over and over and learning from your mistakes. Stop and thinking, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? How can I fix it later? So what is growth mindset? The growth mindset is the belief that you can grow your brain and that your intelligence grows with an effort and with the right learning strategies. Just like your brain, every time you learn something, it makes connections and those neurons just link, right? And we're going to go a little more into that in a minute. So that is a growth mindset. What is a fixed mindset? There's many of us that have a fixed mindset that, oh, I don't need to learn anymore. I got it all. Or there's no point for me trying. I'm going to fail anyway. Oh, I give up. I'm frustrated. That's a fixed mindset that we don't want to continue. We know many people, and I know you know someone who they're set on their ways and they do the way they do it because that's the way it's okay. That's the way they do it. And they don't want to change it because they feel like they can't do it any other way. That is a fixed mindset. I'll just give up. So productive struggle. There was a research done about the brain, right? The brain, like I said, it has neurons. And every time you learn something, it connects. There was a research done with 2 different groups of students, 2 different kids. And they have to throw a beanbag with 6 feet. And they practice. One group of students practice 3 weeks straight, throwing the beanbag to 6 feet. And that's all they were doing. And they were practicing. The other group of students, they practiced the same skill, throwing the beanbag, but the first one was 3 feet. Then it was 12 feet. Then it was 6 feet. And you know what? The kids who did that 3, 6, and 12 feet did much better than the ones who only did the 6 feet because that was the only thing they were practicing. The other kids were adjusting. They were learning when they were connecting those new neurons, when the new skill is learned and neurons is weak, then everything that we learn new is just very weak. But then the more you practice, that's when you create mastery. That's when you become good at it. And the connection is surrounded by what's called myelin. And that is what's wrapped around the neurons that keeps that memory in long term. So now when I make rice, going back to the rice thing, I can do it without thinking. Just go and take the rice and get the ingredients and do it right away. When I get out and drive, I can drive automatically. I don't have to do all those point checks like I used to do when I first learned how to do this. And that is called the productive struggle. The productive struggle is an increased difficulty by creative struggle, whether it's 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet, they are throwing the beanbag, Sometimes learning the strategy are more effective where students can feel that they're least effective. But the productive struggle leads them to a better learning and the reason to do a wide substance. And that's when the myelin surrounds these neurons that make it stronger and remember with time and time. So strategies to support the productive struggle. Here are some of the things that you could use. We talk about retrieval. Retrieval is a learning strategy, recalling information. Your brain recalls and brings it up. You store it in your brain, and whenever you remember, it brings it up. Like cooking or driving, it brings it up, immediately remembers what you're doing. Interleaving is a learning technique that involves mixing together different topics, different materials. And then the spacing is reviewing important concepts multiple times a week in brief. So regular sessions, you do one consistently. And mindfulness is a technique to focus on one's awareness and awareness of the present moment. Thinking about your thinking, thinking about what you're doing right now, what you're working on right now. That is the mindful, the present, that right now. So now we're going to go into how the growth mindset impacts learning. It doesn't matter what age you are, it impacts our learning. Our brain is the muscle. Just like any muscle in your body, you have to exercise. If you're going to go to the gym, you're not going to go to the gym and do 2 hours of exercise and you haven't done exercise for a whole year or 2 years from the pandemic, right? You're going to go next day and you won't be able to get up or move or walk. It takes time. You do it in increments, little by little, walking little by little. You're increasing the time. The brain is the same thing. You learn things and you start making those connections. And your brain is a muscle, just like any other muscle, and it's exercise and good nutrition to grow and to build. But the way our brain exercises is by learning new things. It could be a simple thing as learning how to use the computer one day at a time, how to sew something, how to swim little by little. Your brain starts developing the muscle, creating those neurons, surrounded by the myelin, and creating a new understanding. So the more you learn, the bigger your brain gets. So the benefits of having the growth mindset is that our students perform better in school with a fixed mindset, with the one with a fixed mindset. So the score in the test scores, even adults, they believe that they're able to do things with overtime, and they tend to seek opportunities to gain more knowledge because they know that if we make a mistake, it's okay. We learn from it. It's not that just that I make a mistake, I'm not good at it, I'm gonna give up. Is I made a mistake, okay, let me find out what can I do to fix it. And that is the growth mindset. The students were seek even more information, challenging academics tasks and boosting learning as they value critical feedback. They want to know, what am I doing right and why? What makes it right? What am I doing wrong and why? What makes it wrong? So I can learn from it. So here's what it looks like. If you're able to read this in your screen, you can take a screenshot of this or picture with your phone if you like. But this is what it looks like. And I want you to read it to yourself. And as you're reading it, think about how is your body feeling, how is your mind feeling when you read the fixed mindset. Just read the fixed mindset first. I'm not good at this. I can't make this better. I don't really understand. I made a mistake. My plan didn't work, so I give up. How does that make you feel? Put it in this chat if you like. Does that make you feel okay? Does that make you feel defeated? Yes, definitely. Very negative, right? Now go to the other side. Read it to yourself, and I'm going to read it out loud too. And then think about your feeling. Think about what are you feeling when you're reading this? What am I missing? I can always improve. I need more practice. I learn from my mistakes. I will use a different strategy. How does that make you feel? Go ahead and put it in the chat if you like, please. Positive and ready for what it comes next. Absolutely. Yes, that is the difference of the creative, the mindset, creative mindset, definitely. So thank you for sharing in the chat box. Now, I don't want you to think that fixed mindset is not good. Fixed mindset is good for certain things because we don't want to think it's jumping from one building to the next, thinking it's okay, I'm going to learn how to do it. That's when you want a fixed mindset. This is dangerous. I should not do that at all. It's always a no. Or jumping from couch to couch. You might get hurt. That's definitely a no. But the growth mindset is what we want to learn from a mistake, is to have the open mind to learn from it. So fixed mindset versus growth mindset. You saw the two different sides of the brains in there. One was gray, one was colorful, right? It doesn't mean that you're all in one or the other. Most of us are in between, going back and forward, and it's okay. So most people tend to mix both, especially if they don't naturally have a positive attitude. We always know someone, raise your hand if you do, someone who's always negative. It's always someone in our family, in the neighborhood, or at work who's always negative. But then we always have someone who's always positive, looking at the half glass full, looking at what we can learn from it. So this is too hard for me. They learn to change it to something from growth mindset. So most of us know Michael Jordan. Are you familiar with Michael Jordan? He's a champion basketball player, right? So he missed, did you know that he missed 9,000 shots when he was in the baskets? And he lost 900 games? And did you know that he also missed the game-winning shot 26 times? Did he give up? No. Is he a loser? Or did he have a growth mindset? He learned from it. So a fixed mindset can be good in terms of safety and setting boundaries. But a growth mindset is what makes us grow. Well, it doesn't matter what age you are. There's still time to learn new things. So now we're going to go, we know what growth mindset is. We talked about a little bit how it works. So now we're going to use some strategies to help you. And again, this strategies is for everyone in the family. It's not just for certain group of age students or anyone. It's anyone from 0 to 99 years old. How to provide support. So we want to create the space of risk taking. And it's okay to take risk. We want to create challenges that we can create with students and family members. We want to create a space where mistakes can be seen as an opportunity to learn and to grow. We also want to validate how frustrating it can be when things don't go our way. And things turn out easy, that is normal for adults that have moments that we can just need to grow and have the growth mindset too. So in addition to the supports, we can also help by encouraging people around us or ourselves to think about the power of yet. Just like some people say, I haven't learned how to swim yet. I have not learned how to drive yet. I haven't learned how to use the computer yet. I haven't learned how to play an instrument yet. Because we can still learn. There's still time. Yes, life happens. We have work, we have family, but we can always do different, learning little by little as time goes. Finding that time to ourselves to improve ourselves, it helps. So we are going to listen to a video for the power of yet. And the video is in English, but it has the subtitles in Spanish. We can hear it, Vilma.
Share computer sound.
Reading. I don't like learning about history and science. I am not good at math. I'm not a great public speaker. I am not an artist. I don't do well working in groups. I can't run a mile. I am not patient. Are we done with this yet? I am not good at school. Yet. You're not good at writing or reading or running or whatever yet. That doesn't mean you can't be good at those things at some point. You just aren't yet. But if you allow yourself to be stuck in this mindset that you are inherently not good at something, if you believe that whatever labels school and society has slapped on you are true, and therefore stay in this stagnant place of mediocrity and limited ability, you're right. You won't ever be good at those things. But here's a little life hack, a piece of wisdom. You can get better at whatever you want to get better at. You're not good at writing? Keep working on it. Write poems, keep a journal, keep trying to make those essays in English class better with every one that you write. You have a brain, you have fingers, you can write, you just have to do it more. Not a good artist? When was the last time that you tried? I mean, really attempted to create something. The more you pick up a paintbrush, a pencil, a fold of paper in a weird way, the better you get at creating and realizing that you are an artist. I've never heard of someone who took up running and didn't get faster the more they did it. I believe for many years that I was bad at math. I got D's on quizzes and cheated on my homework. My excuse was that I wasn't good at math, that I was very right-brained. But then a couple of years ago, I got into woodworking and I needed to know how to calculate angles and use precise measurements in this work. I didn't just figure this stuff out. I had to learn it all over again. I wasn't bad at math. I just wasn't good at it. Yeah, I confess, I am not good at understanding quantum physics. But if I sat down and I studied and I read and I talked to people who are good at understanding quantum physics, I would get better at it. It's a matter of having a mindset that isn't fixed or stuck in place. Instead, having one that can grow. And this works for anything. So what sentence can you put yet on the end of? Stop saying that you're bad at stuff. Don't tell me you're not good at something. Just tell me you're not good at something.
So just like we said before, sometimes when someone else says it, it sounds better than someone's talking all this time. Yet the power of yet is very impressive. So we can see that the power of yet helps to reshift, to change our mindset, the way we think. It helps us encourage learning and maintaining that engagement. So even during tough situations like we just had this past few years, many of us have really tough situations, and increasing our confidence to try new things and be okay with making mistakes. So encouraging learning. And you can just write the power of yet. You know, what can I do yet? Write on a piece of paper, things that you cannot do yet. And that will be your focus for the next time. Just keep learning and practicing. How can I practice and make better? If I cannot do it yet, but I will be able to do it later on. And checking in. We're just sometimes we need to keep that mindset that we're supporting our family, ourselves, our children, and developing the growth mindset, and to check in as and assess frequently during dinner time, breakfast, watching TV, something that you just go in and talk about your feelings. Talk about how you doing, not just how you doing, but what is it going, what's happening today. I noticed that you have math. How did you do in math? Be more specific and talk about your feelings. If you model with your kids how to talk about feelings, they will do it for you too. They'll replicate that. So in developing my growth mindsets, we discuss sometimes making mistakes can be frustrating, but we learn from it, right? Having those breaks, having been motivational, talk about coping skills. We're going to go over some of those in a minute, but it's important to please check with your family, check in with your kids, check in with your relatives. Sometimes we put up front that everything is okay, but inside it's not. And it's important to check in every now and then. How are we doing? You know, this happened to me. How about you? Is everything okay with you? Have a conversation. Have a cup of coffee with your family members. It always helps to have the time that we need a break, the motivation, or the time to cope and relate. So let's talk about mind breaks. What are they? So there's benefits of mind breaks, right? And here, as you can see, if you really tired about something, you need a mind break to reshift your focus, to refresh your mind, to manage your feelings, to big feelings, to increase the self-regulation. Sometimes we get so upset that we can't come down. The mind break would help us. And I will give you some ideas on what that look like. It can activate the brain. It could be active and it could be quiet. It depends on what you need. We all need different things at different times. So as we had mentioned earlier, one tried to help us the productive struggle, the spacing, just like the kids were practicing. They were not able to do the 6 feet right away, but then the 3, the 6, and the 12 throwing tossing the big bag, that helped the kids also. Had the productive struggle, brings your mind, reshift your mind to focus, to manage your feelings, and not be frustrated just to do it 6 feet and not be able to do it. But I can do it 12, I can definitely do it at 6. So let's do one. I'm going to be sitting down, but you can stand up if you can, if it's possible. And this is a active brain break, okay? So we've been sitting for a while listening, and you're walking around. We're going to stop for a second. You're going to stand up, and we're going to think that I love cats. So think of a cat, okay? Cats have claws. We're going to stretch our fingers. Get the claws ready. I'm going to stretch my arm up, all the way up, and you can feel the stretch in your arm all the way to the side. Stretch, reach out to the sky like you've scratched into the ceiling. Now to the other one, stretch all the way up and scratch the ceiling with both arms all the way up. Scratch, scratch. Now, if you're standing up, be careful. Just go to the side and balance yourself and try to reach as slow as you can all the way down. Breathe. Come up, stretch your arms, stretch your side, all the way to the other side. Go down, go up, bring your arms down a little bit. Keep your claws still going up. Take your claws back, put them back, and relax your body. Did you feel your blood flowing a little when you're stretching up and coming back? Or did you feel any difference? This would help your brain get oxygen. This would help your brain get that breathing, the stretching, gets your blood flowing through your veins. That reshift your brain and your state of mind. This is an active way of working out. This is an active brain break. So it all depends on how much time we need. Here is a quiet one. A quiet one, you're just gonna listen to the fish, and I want you to breathe as the fish goes up and take your breath out as the fish goes down. So you're going to inhale, breathe in, exhale, breathe out, it goes down, and slowly, try not to do it too fast, follow the fish. We're gonna do it for only 30 seconds, okay? Nope, we can't hear the fish. No, we can hear the fish. Okay, so this is another way for your body to have oxygen. When you breathe slowly, inhale, and you take it out, exhale, you feel your lungs and your body. Trick here is to do it slowly, because if you do it fast, you hyperventilate. You're doing too fast, so you're defeating the purpose. So you have to do inhale slowly and take it out slowly. That helps your mind to be cleared when you're upset about something, when you're angry about something, when you're sad about something, you have the strong feelings. This would help you clear your mind, lower your heartbeat, and help you relax a little bit. There are many other mental breaks that you can take. And here's the other brain breaks. Jumping jacks. We need that extra exercise. Just get up and do jumping jacks. Listen to your favorite song. That also clears your brain. Stretching, like we did right now. Drinking water, believe it or not. If someone has a strong emotion, I don't know if you ever noticed someone is crying or they can't focus, you offer them water. And the simple fact of drinking the water and passing down, it calms them down. It's the fact that you're taking your time to regulate and swallow and bring it down. That gives your brain a different function than focusing on that problem that you have at that moment. Walk in place, take that energy off. Deep breathing, slowly hold it and then let it go. There's some other ones in here that are not here. Tense and release. When you feel like you have problems and your body is really tense, go ahead and tense your body really hard and then release. Let it go. And then tense it again. Then you realize how tense you were without even noticing. So those were a few brain breaks that we can actually do today or tomorrow at home. The other thing that we can do is praise. Praise is so important, even for us adults. When someone tells us we do a good job, it makes us feel better. Definitely kids. But there's different types of praising. There's praising and there's certain praising. So we are going to, when we talk about praise, it's a powerful thing. It's a mindset when we praise someone. So when you tell someone, I see you put a lot of effort in your work, that is praising. Instead of saying, oh, good job. You're so smart. You're great. Praise them for what they did. Thank you for taking one shoe off the living room and put it in a closet. That's great. You did one. Perfect. That's praising. I am proud that you tried different ways of doing it. That's one of praising. You keep trying even though it was hard, but that means that your brain is growing, learning from mistakes. Remember that? So we want to highlight that they're noticing their effort. It is important to praise your kids or someone else's effort and not just the outcome, because we focus so much on the outcome and not the effort. Sometimes we think to ourselves, I worked so hard to make this dinner tonight and nobody appreciated it. Well, I worked so hard for doing something for somebody else and didn't realize it. Praising the simple things, the effort, not the outcome, is very important. So things to avoid, okay? Some of you might have different kids at home, different siblings, different family members. And some people love to compare one kid to another. We could have 5 kids, numbers on the fingers on our hand, and they're all totally different. So try to avoid that. We can say, Elizabeth, you did a great job, but not as well as Vilma. She did better than you did. Try to avoid this comparison in the family. Control a conditional. I would give you time off if you can do this for me. This doesn't work for the kids, because then they can, oh, well, you're not really giving me a praise. You want me to do something for you. Or sometimes we overdo it. We do it too much. And by that time, the kids just like white noise. They don't hear anymore because we're always praising them. Okay? Or backhanded compliments. To just to tell them you do this, but how come you didn't do it yesterday? Vilma, you pick up the dishes from the table today, but you didn't do it yesterday or the day before. Just try to avoid those, please. And we know that if someone would do this for us, that would also you will see it and feel it and hear it. So as we wrap up for today, just a few things to note when managing expectations, as we've seen here. Our students, our kids, our family members, keep in mind the average attention span. The things that we talked about today, it depends on their age, average age. And I said this is from 9 months to all the way to 99 years old. The things that you want to do for the little ones is quick and easy. Like for a 2-year-old, it was 2 minutes of what we're going to do for attention span. If you have an 8-year-old, 6 to 24 minutes. After 6 to 24 minutes, we need a break, a mental break. For a 16-year-old and up, 38 to 48 minutes. You're in a computer, you're reading, or you're doing at work, any assignment you're doing, you need a break. Even as for adults, every hour or hour and a half, we need a break. We need to, instead of sitting here and listening to something or even work, you have breaks every 2 hours because the body needs it, your mind needs it. So keep the average attention span in mind. Keep the directions simple and brief for the little ones. They can do it. They're able to learn from it if you do it step by step. Model guidance and using coping skills during the tasks that you do. Again, kids will do what we as adults do. Even if we don't think they're listening, even if we don't think they're watching us, they're always keeping an eye on you. And model compassion. This is learned. They don't not burn with it. This is that they learn over time. So as we come into an end, I wanted to go back to what I asked you at the beginning. This is what I want you to gain at the end of the session. Did you get a little understanding of what social emotional learning and growth mindset is? Or did you expand on your learning? Did you discover how growth mindset impacts learning, whether you're a kid or an adult? Did you learn some strategies to help you increase the growth mindset? And if you did, great. Thank you for being here today. And we can always go back and do a refresher later on. And I want to thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to hand it off now to Vilma, I believe. Oh, before I do that, I want to ask you something. If you can put it in the chat for me, if you can do me a favor and actually help me out with this. From what you learned today, growth mindset, learning from our mistakes, having mental breaks, and helping, what would you commit to do tomorrow or this week with your kids, with your family members, at work? Something, write something that you would like to commit, whether it's in English or Spanish. Go ahead and write it in the chat box. I will commit to exercise, deep breathing, be compassionate, role model. What would you commit from everything that we talked about today? Oh, wow. Listen to my daughter's feelings. It's very important. Yes. Go for a walk. Yes, with the family, definitely. That helps us take the different set of mind. Thank you for sharing. Learning from our mistakes. Yes, definitely. Yep, when we speak, affect our kids, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. This is what I like about this. Something that we can take back and practice right away. Listen to the family. That's something that is hard to do sometimes. Take longer walks. To be more compassionate. Yes. Have more patience. I need that too. Pay attention to the side. Yes. Breathe. Listen and walk. Excellent. This is great. Thank you for sharing. So On the next slide, I just want to thank you everyone for giving me your time and inviting me to come to your session. I'd love to come and have conversation. Next time we'll have Wendy Correas with us. She's a psychiatric social worker, and she does an excellent job giving more ideas and topics and tips about the social emotional learning. If you have any questions, you might put them in the chat. And we tried our best to answer them.
Thank you, Marisol, for that presentation. I think I will say that I haven't learned to use chopsticks yet, but I am going to try. So that is my take, right? Keeping that growth mindset so that we can learn new things, not give up, be less frustrated, right? And think about our students, right? Our kids, our children, our family members, as you said, right? Showing them, sharing with them the strategies that you have shared with us today. Thank you. Might there be any questions or that we can answer, or have we discussed or answered most questions already?
It looks like most of the questions have been answered. We got quite a few responses to what we were going to be trying to do in the future, that we're committing to do, not just trying, but committing to do.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much, then. So we'll continue as we have just a few more minutes. And thank you for being here. And we want to, since you're here, invite you to, well, let you know about some announcements and invite you to some activities. So first of all, we want to remind you that we will be on spring break next week. And on April 11th, from 8 to 11 a.m., you are welcome to come to one of the 63 grab-and-go food centers in our district. There are 63 of them, and just consult this website, https://achieve.lausd.net cafe LA, so that you can see the map, you can see the names of the schools where they will be offering and having this available. So each student will receive one food box that includes meals for 7 days, okay? But you must pick it up between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. next April 11th, I believe is Monday. And also, right, so we want to thank some of our community partners because there will be an additional 20-pound box of groceries available, but that's just while supplies last. And of course, parents may pick up the food boxes on behalf of their students. You don't have to bring your children along with you necessarily, okay? So we wanted to remind you of this opportunity of this for next Monday, since we will be on spring break. We want to remind you also of the opportunity to be part of the computer course. I believe that we have about 25-30 people already enrolled. So this is a basic computer skills course where you will learn internet, online safety, Windows 10, mouse and keyboard basics, and email, and more. So we invite you to be part of this course. We need at least 50 people in order to receive additional supports from Human IT. In addition, if you complete the course, and it's only 8 hours, and you can do it, at your own pace, 8 hours, then you will receive a voucher, a $100 voucher for the first 300 people that completed, and you will be able to purchase a device from Human IT. And their devices run from 100 to 110, 20, 30. So it would be a good investment of time if you complete this course. So again, this is the link. I believe my colleagues will put it in the chat. And you can also ask at your school site. We're sharing this information with all of our schools, community representatives, and they are also willing, many of them are, to be part of this course and support you at the school site. So we are going to hopefully start very soon once we get our 50 participants ready, and more. 50 is the minimum, right? We can have many, many more. We want to invite you for an additional presentation tomorrow, Thursday, at 3 p.m., we are having a wonderful, important presentation on the dangers of vaping. So again, parents, if you want to know more about the dangers of vaping, and it is happening, it is occurring, we want to ensure that you have this valuable information so that you can be aware of this topic, and therefore be able to talk to your child about it. So this is going to be a very important topic tomorrow. We have presented it in the past, but we will have it also tomorrow at 3 p.m. And as always, we are glad that you were here, and we are providing you our contact information. We are the Parent and Community Engagement units from Local District Central. We have our administrator, Teresa Reguin, with us today. We have Olivia and so our community reps at the local district office at Lanterman. And you know that we have our coaches here with us. We have Javier Contreras supporting downtown MacArthur Park Community of Schools, Miss Irina Saint Amant supporting Eagle Rock, Highland Park, and Glacial Park Los Feliz. We have Mr. Alex Campbell, not here with us today. Hopefully he's listening in, and he supports the historic Central Avenue and SOLA, South Los Angeles Communities of Schools. Miss Elizabeth Lomeli supports Koreatown Pico Union Communities of Schools, and I, Vilma Monzon, support Manual Arts Vermont Square Communities of Schools. You are welcome to take down our information and send us an email should you have any questions, especially about the course. I hope many more of you can join us in that course. And I believe that that will be all for today. We thank you again for being here. And I hope that you have learned those wonderful strategies to ensure we support our children and ourselves, right? In having those positive thoughts, ensuring that we have a growth mindset, right? That we try and strive to do our best in everything that we need to do. So thank you again for having been here and for supporting this presentation with your presence. Thank you so much.
Miss Vilma, we did get a couple of questions in the chat during this time. So one of the questions was how to register for the technology for the human IT include course. And so the link is in the chat. So just go ahead and follow that link, and maybe someone can repaste it. And thank you, Mr. Javier. And then another question, which was so interesting, is have we had or can we do a session exploring all the LAUSD apps available on the kids' iPads? It's so robust, and I think parents might enjoy learning of these resources. That was from one of our participants, Camino Smith. And so that sounds like very interesting.
Yes, I think so. So we know that we thank you for that, right? We will look into it. We will definitely inquire and find out what that might be, what that might look like. I know that different schools might use different apps, but we will definitely be able to support you with that. So soon we might have that for you. So thank you for that idea. Definitely, that helps us too, that guide us too. If you tell us what you want, what you need, thank you. That helps us a lot. So again, give us those ideas, and we will support you in that way too, of course. And in terms of the IT course, the human IT course, you can also, again, take down our information, right? Take down our information, email us, or if you want to put it in the chat right now, right? And we can then contact you. That's another way, right? You can also contact your school. Remember that we have sent out this information to all of our schools so they know about the course, and that we are in the process of getting it together and registering people for that course. Might there be anything else? If not, Irene, I believe that we might be ready to go, Ms. Arreguin.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, and see you when we come back from break. Thank you.